Hello everyone, it is Jazz here. So about 3 months ago, I did a video that was about my new strategies for approaching reading series books, because while I do really enjoy the series books that I have read, I often get a little intimidated by series, and I decided I didn't want to be intimidated by them anymore because there are just as many great stories in series novels as there are in standalones. So I made it my goal to work on starting and completing as many series as I could this year, and I made that video of strategies just to kind of help me accomplish that goal. I will link you to that previous strategies video in the description, and I'm happy to say that all those strategies have worked so far for me. However, in the 6 months or so that I've been trying to really work on reading more and completing more series books, I have learned some new things. So I thought I would kind of make a continuation slash update kind of video to iterate some of my new thoughts on reading series books. So the first thing I want to mention is actually something that I forgot in my last video, and it was brought to my attention by my booktube buddy AJ over at A Stitch in Time, and she's like, "You forgot to say buddy reads." And I was like, yes, you are so right. So buddy reading has been really helpful to me in terms of trying to complete series books. I find this particularly helpful if the books are on the longer side or there are a lot of books in the series. It's just really helpful to be able to discuss a book with someone. It is also something that keeps you kind of accountable because you want to keep reading and completing that book so that you can discuss it at the time that you're going to discuss it, and that does really help me. The next one is sort of an addition to something that I mentioned in the other strategies video. I did mention that I wanted to read a lot more of the series books in audiobook, and that is true. That does really help to read a few things in audiobook or reread the first few books if you need to catch up, just to have a new experience and listen to them in audiobook. But I've learned something else about using audiobooks for series book reading, and it's the fact that if a book is on the longer side and it's part of a series, something that's over 500 pages or so, it is really cool if you can to have those longer ones in both a physical copy or an ebook as well as an audiobook. And the reason why I found this really helpful is that if you're in the middle of a longer book and you want to kind of maximize your reading time, it does really help to have both kinds of books to read. So that way you can read it when you're in the mood to use your eyeballs, but also if you need to like do the dishes or you want to have your hands free to like work on a project, you can still get a lot of that longer book in and thus get another series book in the series done. You can, with Kindle, do the add Audible narration with your purchase of an ebook, and that works really well. Another thing that I've discovered if I have the book in physical copy is that sometimes you can find an audiobook version of that book you have in physical copy on Scribd or something like getting it at the library, and then you feel like more like you're borrowing it and you haven't had to like buy a whole separate audiobook. The next one is a really important one for me personally, and it's the fact that it's okay to make your way through a series slowly. I think a lot of my intimidation previously came from the fact that I felt like I had to binge read every single series and then possibly have to wait for the next book if the next book wasn't out. And I realized if you like the series enough to continue through the subsequent books, it is worth committing to whatever time length you need to finish those books in a way that makes sense for you. Be it taking a week to get through all the books in the series or a year or two to get through all the books in the series. And sort of in addition to this that does help me is that I had to realize that it's okay to take a break from the series. Even if I'm really enjoying an author's work, I just discovered that I'm not somebody that can read the same author over and over again in a short span of time. I do like to switch around and read different authors. That means that you do kind of have to take a break from the longer series that you're reading if they're over 3 or 4 books, and I realized that that's okay. So I've discovered that if I'm going to take a break from a certain series, that I need to not wait longer than a month or 2 before jumping into the next book, because after a month or 2 I start to forget quite a bit of the story. The only exception to this is if the book had like a really big cliffhanger, or the ending of the previous book was really memorable, and then usually I can wait a little tiny bit longer. Next thing is about standalones, which is kind of deviating from the series thing, but it does come back to the series thing. For me personally, I do kind of have to make sure that I do get some standalone books into my repertoire while trying to read the whole bunch of series that I'm trying to complete. And this is just something personally for me, because I realized after a while that I was reading so many series books that I was starting to like itch for a standalone. And so I was like, Jazz, you read a lot of books at the same time. Give yourself that standalone, girl. And that did really help and keep me inspired to keep finishing my series books. Now for the very last thing that I've learned about reading series books, and it kind of has to do with the fact that I usually make a to be read for the whole year at the beginning of the year, and one of the sections on my to be read is different series books. In reading a lot of series books this year, I've discovered that you need to not just worry about the first books in a series, but you also need to allot time for the subsequent books in the series if you do end up enjoying that first book. Now, I wasn't thinking about that at all this year, so I made quite a bit of a list of first books in series that I wanted to begin, and I realize now that I'm probably not going to get to very many of those, because I read a few of the first books on the list and then discovered that I really liked those and that I wanted to continue those ASAP. So that's some of the other series on that list are going to be pushed down to the bottom. I'm thinking next year when I make that TBR that instead of picking several first books in a series to give a go, I will actually only pick something between 3 to 5 to give a try, and then also put a little bit more focus on finishing the leftover books in series that I have yet to get to. But I feel like the good thing about this is that I did start a lot of series and I did really enjoy almost all of them. That is it for the video, and I will see you all on Thursday. Thank you for watching. Bye!